Today, I'm going to show you a quick tip here in Next.js. So basically, it's going to be how you can redirect within server actions. Now, this isn't necessarily specific to just server actions. We're going to use this redirect function from Next navigation here in this example, but you can use the redirect function for other things like server components, route handlers, and server actions, as you can see here in the Next.js docs, which I will also link this in my description below. Now, we'll also at the end cover some things that are good to know, as well as permanent redirect, as it's basically the same as redirect, but we'll cover that here towards the end. So if you want to redirect a user within server components or server actions, you can use this redirect function from Next navigation. So here I have a form page, and basically how this is set up is that we pass an action, which is our handle form server action, to our form that we have here. And you can see that form in my page right here. This is a very impeccably styled form. When the user submits, it's going to trigger this handle form server action, which it's basically going to check, all right, does the form data name equal the string redirect? If it does, redirect them to a success page, else redirect them to an error page. So we just import redirect from next/navigation, and then we just call that function when we want to redirect the user. To prove to you that I'm not lying that this works, if I pass in redirect and I do submit, we see success. You have been redirected. If I come back and I do error, I see something went wrong. So clearly it's working. That is how you can redirect in your server actions or your server component. You just call the redirect function from next navigation, and then you pass in the path that you want to redirect them to. So I pass in redirect, it redirects me to the success path, and then error redirects me to the error path, as you can see up in my URL. Now, a couple of notes here regarding redirects. For one, redirect returns a 307 temporary redirect. Status code by default, when used in a server action, it returns a 303, which is commonly used for redirecting to a success page as a result of a post request. It internally throws an error, so it should be called outside of try-catch blocks. It can be called in client components during rendering process, but not in event handlers. You can use the use router hook instead. So this redirect function is kind of more for server-side stuff, but it can be used in client components during the render. If you need to use a redirect during like an event handler or user action, use the use router hook. And then redirect also accepts absolute URLs. I was using relative URLs, as you can see here, /success and /error, maps to my error page and my success page, but you can pass absolute URLs that redirect to external links. And if you'd like to redirect before the render process, you can use the next.config.js or middleware. Now, very similarly, if it's going to be a permanent redirect, so this could be a case where maybe a user, like they say this example here, if a user mutates their profile URL, well, their previous profile URL isn't going to exist at all anymore. It's no longer going to be that. So it's going to be a permanent redirect. And in that case, instead of using the redirect function from next navigation, you can use permanent redirect. And you can use that basically the very same way that you would use the redirect function. However, permanent redirect, it returns a 308, which is a permanent redirect status code. It also accepts absolute URLs, so you can redirect to external links. And you can do the same thing about where if you'd like to redirect before the render process, you can use next.config or middleware. So that is the TLDR and redirect and permanent redirect here in Next.js. Pretty straightforward. Didn't want to make this too long, but let me know if you have any questions.